Today's video is part 10 of the paint effect. In part 9 we have creating or rendering the tree with a high quality, which we have using alpha channel, which is a transparent image, and we have also using SSS skin shader to came through the light coming through it, and we have using bomb map also, and color diffuse and so on. But that is expensive for the rendering. It will take more time. So there also another way we can also render the tree to be faster. So now it is this I'm going to show you. So here we have the same tree, but the thing is now we don't want to use the alpha channel, so we want to actually go ahead and style the leaf as the shape we want it to be. So when you have the paint effect, you're going to the section of tubes and growth inside the leaves. From here you can go ahead and shape the style of the leaf you like. So there are also video tutorials about how you can create your own tree inside paint effect in the channel. So for now we have just shaping it. And the basic thing is the same technique we use for the tree itself, which is the bark. And for the texture, you can check the part 9 of the paint effect, so how we can do this. But if we look into the high shade and going to the wood, here we have using two different texture we have, and we blending it with the ramp. And in the end, we using a layer texture and putting it on the color. So, and inside this folder, the thing we need actually that is better if we using the normal map, because it's rendering fast, so we don't want to use a bomb map. So we're going to use this for the color and this for the normal map. So, but the bark is the same technique we have creating for part 9 of the paint effect, so you can check it out. So now for the tree itself, of course you can just create a normal map out of this, but I'm just going to use the normal map I find, and it will work fine for this presentation. So and the shader I have used, they are Arnold shader, which is standard surface shader. So that is the default one we're going to use. So very easy, we just select the shader, we're going to the geometry and going to the bump mapping, find the file which is a normal map. You can also say it, that is the tangible space normal map, and we can just go ahead and select the file we have, and is here we have file, and we're just loading it up, and if it need have rotation or kind of things, we can also do this. Okay, so we can just check the normal map on it, and it looks fine, I think. So of course we need also creating some of light, and the lighting system is also important to get the render time to be faster. So, but for now we just make a quick test with the sky dome light to see what we got getting. So I have the render view of the Arnold here, but you can just find it there. So yeah, it is not bad. Okay, so now we have normal map. Now we want to coloring this, is again very easy. So we just clean this and go ahead, go to the graph network. Again, that is just a AI standard surface shader. So we're going to use, we start by the color, find the file we have, and so here we have the leaf diffuse, and we want also have the normal map for it. So we just go to the same things. and put it to this, find a file. So here it is the normal map. So, and you can see kind of, yeah. So the thing is here, the texture is not bad, but it needs to be scaled. So to do this, if you came to this situation, so you can use this to scaling it. So to scaling it, we're using these. As you can see, if I type number 2, you can see we got more of this, and we can use the this value to trying to move it in the center. For this, I have now find the 1.3 is good for the size, and we need to move it like this. So now we want to find the number for the second. So maybe something like this. So to get the smooth, of course, you can select it and press 3 to get the smooth version, and it will also give a good effect. But sometimes the leaves is be rendering always from the far away, so yeah. So now we are ready with the shading. The thing I can now, instead of using the SS skin shader to the light coming through, we can actually go ahead and use the opacity of it to creating it. So maybe not so much opacity, we just give it a bit, very bit. But as soon we do this, you need to check attribute editor inside. Yeah, inside the node of the shape, inside the Arnold, you need to have this check off. So that is important to this one to work. And now we can just very quickly render it. And yeah, so be careful not make it so much. So maybe it is too much, so we just going to adjust this to be very tiny bit of it. So now we are actually finished with the shading. Of course, to get this to lighting without noise, we can also apply kind of normal map, and we're using the same diffuse color. So if we want to use it, we can go to this one and apply this one to the color, and by this value we can affect the noise, but we're going also overlight the diffuse also. So but for now we don't want to use it, but that is another option to do this. But I can also very quickly show you how it is, just dragging it in the color, and yeah, and I will just show you this in the render how it look like. And let's see, render, and we just find this. So as you can see, as much I'm going to give it, I'm going to completely, this is going to be flat and getting color from this. So there's a reason we need to have an ambiclusion, but you can also lighting your leaves by this way if you want to. That is going to help also. So now we have actually creating the simple material. Now we want to talking about the lighting, because the lighting have a bit technique you need to know to not getting the noisy images. So the first things is we starting by the sky dome light, but I going to render it. The first sky dome light we're going to use, you can actually use the intensity to controlling the light. Use the intensity, and you can see this light coming from the emission, which is the flat surface shader like Maya. So it is always lighting by this, but now we're just putting to the 1, and maybe we can also use the this as well to lighting. The first sky dome light is very low. I know that is very low, and the thing we don't want to cast shadow. So that is going to lighting or scene. I need to just zoom more in. So here we go. So that is going to lighting, but not very lighting. That is the second light, but I have just starting to show you this easier. So we don't want to have very light information there. Okay. Then we're going to, of course, we need to have the samples to be 3, and that is a not for the samples of the first one. Now we're going and creating a second sky dome light, which is we're going to use the default setting and lighting, but the only thing we're going to do is, let me stop this for a second. I want to have the sample to be 3, and the thing is the shadow I want to be casting, but I don't want to casting very sharp shadow. So we're going to give a bit opacity so the light can come through and lighting all the other leaf behind this light. So something like this we're going to have it. Then we have going to the render, creating a, I don't want to see this. Okay, just closing this, and we're just creating a direct light. If you want to see the shadow where it's going to be, you can of course use these two options. So maybe something like this will look good. So now we are ready actually to render. So if we take a look to the render, maybe I need to cut this out so we can just see it better. So now you can see the render is a bit slower, and to make this to be faster, if you're going to render option here, but I just having it there, going to the Arnold, the thing you need to know, this one, it need to be 0 because that is kind of the global illumination. And if you don't have a specular or something like this, you don't need SSS skin, so you can just put these to the 0. Now we have the diffuse, maybe number 3 is good. So from there you can just go ahead and go to the render. Of course, when you're using the Arnold, it's trying to render very slowly, or not slowly, part by part. If you want to see the final, you can just holding the shift and drag these things and go ahead and check this off, and when you're going to render, it's going to give you the final render. So as you can see now, if we're looking, the image is kind of like this, and there are not so much noise inside this still if I'm going to zoom. But if you're getting some of noise, you can actually go ahead and put this to number 4, and that will work for you. So, but let me just give a quick render. So the render is finished. Now we have the final, and if I just close zoom in, you can see we have not noise at all. So that is a way to render, and it's looking again realistic, but without we using the alpha channel. So it will take about 1 minute and 27 seconds, and if we take another render from far away, is going to be faster. So as you can see now, we have rendering it from the other side, and the render time is about 25 seconds, so without any noise. So that is a technique. Of course, you need to play with the different light information you have on the scene, but the thing is you need to have two, one without casting shadow and using it to get like lighting all the scene a very bit, and the second one you're going to have the transparency inside your shadow, which is this, so very bit, And then you want have, if you want have a direct light like sun or a spotlight or whatever light you want. If you don't want it, so you cannot, you don't need to use it. And the thing is, you can also lighting your scene by the ambiclosion or other diffuse color or baking texture if you have it. So that is a just quick way to render a tree a bit faster in the other. So thanks for watching.